Did you know that there are 6 specific things your drummer needs from you? Hey, this is David Harsh with Guitar Success for You, and today I'm going to help you find 6 ways to bless your drummer by serving him or her well as you collaborate. I've played my guitar alongside drummers of all skill levels, on stage, in the studio, and especially on the worship platform. Sometimes for a single session, but more often week in and week out. If you play your guitar in any of these settings, especially as a worship guitarist, you're going to gain some valuable insights today. Be sure and watch until the end, because I have a bonus thought that could blow your mind just a bit. We as guitarists often serve in a band, and one key member of that band is the drummer. Some of what I'll share with you today applies to more than your drummer, but all of these tips today are especially geared toward helping your drummer bring his or her best as they collaborate with you while you play your guitar. Here are 6 ways to serve your drummer. Number 1, maintain a solid tempo. This may seem basic, but if I don't lock in my strumming and rhythms, I won't be as much of a blessing, especially to my drummer. When I get excited or nervous, I rush. When I'm tired, I slow down. So I practice with a metronome. And yes, I know that some prefer to use a click track with in-ear monitors on a stage or a platform, which can provide a rhythmic framework. But some don't have access to this technology, and most of the time I'm working without it. So if I don't have a solid tempo, sometimes my drummer will need to sort of babysit me by playing consistent quarters or even eighths on the hi-hat, which is okay, but it's not sonically interesting over time and takes him or her out of the artistic conversation and more into the maintenance role. So keep a solid tempo. This is a lifelong skill, right? Number 2, provide auditory and visual cues. What do I mean? In terms of auditory cues, in organic situations where we don't have a click track, I will literally count in a measure at tempo. But of course that necessitates that I have a firm grasp of the tempo, doesn't it? So see number 1 to revisit that. That's an auditory cue. Another auditory cue is to speak in code, where I say a phrase or word to get the drummer to click in the band. Let's say I'm performing a concert in Dallas, Texas. My code word could be awesome. I literally could say, "Good evening, Dallas. It is awesome to be here." Or let's say I'm kicking off a worship service and I need a code word for that. Let's say that word is exalt. So at the top of the service, I could say, "I'd like to invite you to stand with us as we exalt the Lord in song." These auditory cues give the drummer the signal to click in the band. As for visual cues, there are lots of ways to communicate with your drummer without speaking a word. And if you want to go deep with this process, check out my video, 6 Ways to Communicate Well with Your Band on Stage. I also link to it in the description. But a few visual cues could include the following. Wagging the neck of the guitar gives a tempo slowdown, which we call a ritardando. Raising the neck of the guitar near the end of the song can signal a final chorus. Tapping my foot can provide some tempo visualization. Lastly, a simple look, perhaps with my eyebrows going up, can signal the end of a section or even a song. Inside Guitar Success for You, our online membership, I have an incredible guest expert interview with a professional drummer, and we literally play a couple dozen grooves without having rehearsed them. How do we end those grooves? With a visual cue from me, typically a look with my eyebrows up. And in that video lesson, he follows all of the cues and lands the ends of the grooves right on time. Again, without having had a rehearsal with me. Body language can go a long way. Number 3, contribute musical ideas. I've found that playing various strumming patterns can provide different opportunities for my drummer to play different grooves. In a way, I'm giving him or her musical ideas as I play. If I'm accenting beats 2 and 4 like this, my drummer will totally lock in with the snare on those beats. By the way, have you heard that saying? Friends don't let friends clap on beats 1 and 3, right? If I'm syncopating like this, anticipating with the and of beat 2, 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and, my drummer may use the kick to follow that groove. Do, 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 do. The more useful strumming patterns I have at my disposal, the more ideas I can offer my drummer. Conversely, if I only know a few strumming patterns, I could be limiting myself and my drummer to the same small collection of grooves. And I might even use a strumming pattern that doesn't actually work well with the song we're playing. Again, inside our Guitar Success for You membership, we teach multiple strumming patterns in multiple time signatures, and we even name them for easy reference. I've got a link in the description about the membership. So expand your rhythm palette so you can provide some great ideas for your drummer to work with. We're halfway there. Are you tracking with me? Is this content helpful? Then please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We've got more great content coming your way. Okay, ready for number 4? Here it is. Number 4, play with soul. This is a very subjective concept, but go here with me. If I'm playing metrically accurately, but there's no feeling in what I'm doing, the drummer will clue into this. It's not just about the notes, it's about the music. I've worked a long time to develop my feel as a strumming guitarist, and I have to say, after more than 30 years, I'm still not where I want to be in terms of soulful playing. There's still more I could do to make it feel more organic. I can tell when I hear some other guitarists play with soul, but also when I collaborate with a soulful drummer. If I bring a tasteful groove as I play with dynamic variation, perhaps even shuffling or swinging if appropriate, the soul factor can be much more evident. This is a straight groove. And this is that very same groove shuffled. Shuffling is a sweet way to enjoy new approaches to the grooves you already know. This video will give you a glimpse into my shuffling process. I also link to it in the description. Playing with soul is hard to quantify, but when it's there, you'll know it. Number 5, develop your awareness. Did you ever see Christopher Nolan's film Batman Begins? There's a recurring phrase throughout that movie, and it begins in Bruce Wayne's training. That phrase is, always mind your surroundings. If we aren't aware of our surroundings, we miss out on the visual or even auditory information that could help us serve our drummer well. Part of what helps us in this area is to be less visually dependent on the music stand. We of course need to be aware of the song, the printed information on the chart, and what is being asked of us, but beyond this, we need to know what the band, specifically the drummer, is doing so we can respond accordingly. If we're too focused on the music stand, we may be unaware of the subtleties of the drummer's playing. Maybe we need to come alongside the drummer more. Maybe we need to ask for something different from the drummer. Whatever the case, we need to develop our awareness so we can be better team players and play well with others. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, number 6, be musically trustworthy. Musical trust is an important but delicate thing. I love all the musicians I get to serve with. I just don't trust all of them. Trust needs to be earned, in my opinion. Some musicians don't come prepared. Some make consistent errors even when we've taken time to go over sections a few times. Some don't write things down in their music. These kinds of things will shake my confidence a bit, and I'll basically think to myself, good musician, but not totally trustworthy. A trustworthy musician is someone who is prepared, consistent, reliable, and does what they say they're gonna do. They are predictable in all the right places. And if I want to attract trustworthy musicians, including drummers, it's good to lead by example. So I need to be very prepared, sometimes even memorized, but I need to play the charts as everyone's expecting me to play them, and to be almost boring in my predictable consistency. I want my drummer thinking, yep, when David is on the session, I can relax because I know what he's gonna do. I trust him. When there is trust, we can all get to making music because we're not concerned about the other musicians skipping sections of the song or getting off track. It's a beautiful thing to have people trust you musically. Here's a bonus thought to really make you think. Did you know that you are actually a drummer? Hear me out. You play in rhythm, you hold meter, you maintain tempo, you're a drummer. I had the privilege of studying the Chapman stick with a Mexico City-based player named Jaflet Bire Atias. He said this profound quote, "We are all drummers in disguise." Do you believe it? So try some of these tips out the next time you collaborate with your drummer, and let me know how it goes. There are other musicians in your band that you can serve well as you collaborate with them. And when you do, they'll give you even more of their best playing. Then the music you make will be even better than it already is. I'll be in touch on who those other collaborators are and 6 ways you can serve each of them well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.